everybody, this is Rebecca TOTILO with Aroma Tea. Today I want to talk about high blood pressure and how to use your essential oils for high blood pressure. But first, I want to check mine. I'm going to be using this device that I purchased at CVS Pharmacy. You gotta sit straight, legs crossed, and be relaxed all at the same time. Let's see if it works. Oh man. It says 130/94. I'm in the first section here for high blood pressure. This one is, okay, yeah, you got it. This one is, oh my God, you actually really have it. Like, this is it for sure. And then that one is like dangerous. So my pulse was a little high because I just was talking and crossed my legs, do all this stuff. My bottom number is really my issue. Top is usually lower than that too. I'll show you. Like if I go to my memory. Okay, this was right before I started taping. You can see the number changed. So I'm sort of like yellow. Now this is what, okay, right after I did a couple of voiceovers for a tape. And so I sat down real fast and, I had just been moving and excited and everything. I took my blood pressure. Okay, that was good. But then, let me show you. This is what happened right after I videotaped. YouTube is giving me high blood pressure. No, actually what has happened is it's been creeping up for years. And I am post-menopausal, 60 years old. So I do obviously have a lot of things working against me because of my hormones, like, the estrogen, the weight gain, because my weight's been gradually going up. And I'm not a person that goes to the doctor very much. I only go when there's a crisis. I don't have health insurance, so I basically have had to rely on my essential oils and anything else that I could find, supplements to help me get through any kind of challenge. So I wrote a book on essential oils for high blood pressure, as you guys probably know. I've done one video on this. Check out the link. But the thing about it was, when I wrote that book, I didn't have high blood pressure. I wrote that book because my parents had high blood pressure and both passed away with heart disease. In fact, my dad was very young when he was diagnosed with high blood pressure. He was a smoker, and I think he actually had a heart defect because he had his first heart attack when he was about 46 years old. He passed away suddenly at 51, and that was a very hard thing for me. It was a shock being in the ninth grade, 14 years old, and my dad had passed away. So it really was very traumatizing to me. Now my mom, who I do take a lot of her genetics from in the body shape and metabolism and everything, she also had high blood pressure. She had been taking medication for a long time. She had had other health issues, and she was also a cigarette smoker. But she was later in life developing more of the angina pain, where she was just always in pain. And back then, this was years and years and years ago, she would go to the doctor and they would just treat her like it was, psychosomatic, that it was all in her head. At that time, they didn't know about angina and that this was because of the blockage in her. Now, she had the balloon thing done. She did have a heart attack. She also had a stroke later in life and another heart attack that she passed away from. So it's very close and dear to my heart to understand what causes heart disease and how we can prevent it and what we need to do. Now, saying all that, I'm still very bad about certain things. One of being my diet. And so I've had to adjust my diet recently, bring in more exercise in, and I blame YouTube because during COVID, of course, we're all locked in our houses. We're not going out and doing things as much. Now, I'm in Florida. I have no excuse. I still could go outside and, because we have great weather here. But I wasn't being a good girl. I was sitting on the sofa basically all day long and for weeks at a time. I mean, literally. And so when I started doing the YouTube channel more and I was trying to be more consistent about it, I was doing videos like twice a week, 3 times a week. So I was literally editing all the time and I was always sitting down. And so, I mean, literally my family, my husband would be sliding a plate under the door to feed me because I wasn't going to get up. I wasn't going to even go to the bathroom. I was just sitting there all day. Well, it caught up with me. There was a couple of months ago, I'm not sure what maybe had sparked it, but I was feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxiousness, and I was dealing with some other things going on. Multiple things were going on. And I decided to pull up the high blood pressure monitor thing again and try to check my blood pressure. So I did, and I was developing a really, really bad headache, so I knew something wasn't right. And I was hearing ringing in my ears. So I had always thought that the ringing in my ears for the last several years was due to listening to, having your AirPods in during the, like nighttime. I'll listen to a podcast or I'll listen to music or something. I'm always listening to something at night. Probably not a good practice. But it was something I started many years ago when the insomnia kicked in because of the menopause. And so while I wasn't able to sleep, I figured, okay, you remember your parents or your mother would always say, oh, just lay still and you'll be resting. So I used that in my head to think, okay, I'm not going to ever sleep for the next 2 or 3 years, right? And I didn't. I really didn't sleep. I would lay there wide awake at night and start to, I decided, okay, I'm just going to listen to something. And, you might fall asleep during one of them. You might wake up in the middle of the night again. I'll just put another one on and I'll go back to sleep. So this became very habitual, and I was doing it all the time. And up to this day, I'm still listening to podcasts and things that, during the evening. I never sleep without something. So anyway, with all that said, I thought that the ringing in my ears was from that. Now, I started doing a lot of research about high blood pressure and discovered that ringing in your ears could be the high blood pressure, hypertension. So in that case, I thought, oh my gosh, all these years I could have been, developing high blood pressure and not realizing it because I don't go to a doctor and I never really get checked. Now, when I did go a few years back, I had come back from St. Martin. I had been there for a month. And I had been doing a lot of, moving and swimming, snorkeling. We went scuba diving. We did some things. So we did a lot of walking. And I didn't even rent a car for like the first 3.5 weeks because I said, this is going to force me to walk, right? You're going to walk everything. But then I finally caved in and got a car because it was a pain in the butt to get around the island. So anyway, with all that said, I felt a lot of pain right here, and I didn't know if, it was angina. Never had it before. Didn't even know why I would even think that way. But I started a supplement that had cayenne pepper in it. And so when I got back, I started to have all these, palpitations and all this fluttering going on. And then I'm feeling the pain. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. So I was having an anxiety attack. Went to the emergency room. Of course, when you go to an emergency room, they don't let you go home if you tell them you got heart pain or any kind of angina or anything. So they said, okay, we're going to have to keep you here and observe you. Now, that was like right around, I think it was right around New Year's Eve or somewhere in there, maybe a couple days before. Yeah, it was actually a few days before. So they got me in the hospital. Now, again, keep in mind that at that time I weighed like 25 pounds lighter. And I was in shape, obviously, because I was moving and doing things. So they observed me. They did every test that was imaginable. It was a $30,000 physical. Hadn't had one in 10 years, so hey, okay, I made up for lost time. But what happened was, okay, so while I was there and they did all these tests, they're saying, you know, it looks really good. All your numbers, all your markers, everything looks really, really good. But he said, you know, there's one more thing we could do. We could do the MRI, we can do the scan, we can do the stress test. So I says, okay, why not? I'm here. And he said, well, you can come back in a couple weeks. I was like, no, let's just do it. You know, let's just power through this and get it all done. And so we did, and had some great doctors at Baycare Health. And so got all these tests done. And when I was on the treadmill thing, you know, I'm just walking like, listening to my music, you know, and I'm doing good. And they were like, oh, get off that thing. You're fine. What are you doing here, you know? So at that point, I sort of forgot all about it. I wasn't really checking my blood pressure. I was more into, you know, just doing life, right? Not really paying attention to my diet. I'm from the South. We eat a lot of fried foods. I'm a sugarholic for sure. I mean, I eat candy all the time. I know my mom loved candy, and so it's really caught up. Look at this. I mean, you can see it's all right here in the pooch. And so now I am reaping the effects and all of this from a bad diet and, of course, lack of exercise, because when you get older, you don't feel like doing anything, right? You just want to sit. So I can't technically blame YouTube for causing this, but when that moment of that crisis hit me where my blood pressure was through the roof, and I was really scared because I'd never seen my numbers that high. I mean, it went really, really high. And it might be normal for some other people who have monitored over the years, but for me, getting up into the 156, 160 range is way higher than ever had. In fact, when I was younger, I was 98 pounds, and I remember we had an ambulatory person who worked across the street. He drove an ambulance, and he came over and was checking my mom and blood pressure and stuff. And he said, let me check you. So he checked my blood pressure, and it was really super low. And he said, man, you better warn people. They're going to think you're going into shock. Your blood. So anyway, I had very low blood pressure. So anything that's really high up in the 140s is hypertension for me. And right now, I went to the doctor, got it checked after I had those splitting headaches, and I felt like something wasn't right, wasn't feeling really good in my chest. And so they said, yeah, you got high blood pressure. And so they gave me the medicine. I'll show it to you later. But it was a very small dose. And she said, break it in half and take it. I didn't want to. I told her, I said, you know, I really want to try to do this naturally. I know it's a lot, more involved. It's not simple. It may not even work, but let me try it. So she's like, okay, you're going to have to monitor it, and we're going to follow up with you in a couple weeks to make sure that it is actually low, right? That we've got it back under control. And not just under control, but reverse the damage. I really wanted to see so much change. Now, I want to stop the video, and I'm going to go get my stuff. I'm going to bring it here so you guys can see what exactly I'm doing to lower my blood pressure. So hold on right there. Okay, so I'm going to show you all the things that I've been trying. I'm not sure what's working and what's not, right? Because I'm doing so many things, which is probably not the best way to do it. Obviously, I used essential oils in the very beginning. I was using just the oils, nothing else, absolutely nothing else. And I got cypress, which is great for circulation. I've been doing frankincense. I have this Serenity blend. I'm not crazy about it, but you could use lavender, spikenard. There's a lot of oils that are good for stress, and that will be vasodilators, and they'll help to help with the circulation, help with opening up those vessels and things like that. So that's what I started to work on. Now, whether or not it was enough, I'm not really sure, because you know what? I'm like you. we use a blend maybe one time. We don't use it consistently. We're not using it enough. So I decided to start taking some of the supplements to maybe give it a little kick. So like I have them in little jars. I don't keep them in the ugly bottles anymore. Some of them I do, but anyway, like this one is the, I think this is Cobaye, and I've been using this one because it's supposed to be very good. Don't know. I don't know if it's working. I also added taking valerian root at night because I thought, well, maybe help me sleep. And okay, sorry about that. My camera keeps loading up and I can't record anymore, so just sort of reset here. I'm going to show you all the things that I've been using, quite a bit of supplements and things. Now, I found this online, Terry Naturally Clinical OPC for heart. And what this has in it is some French grapeseed extract. It's supposed to be really good for blood pressure, cardiovascular, and for cholesterol circulation. So, hey, can't hurt, right? I did that one probably about a couple of months ago. Do you remember when I said, hey guys, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off? Well, this is why. Because I was spending so much time on the sofa working on videos, I said, I got to get up off the sofa. I got to start exercise. I got to move. I did find this online. This is another one that's Terry Naturally, and it's called Artery Strong. This one has vitamin A, D3, and K2, which is good for the vascular elasticity and for strength. Can't hurt. Again, another supplement that is just going to help support what you're trying to do here. Now, I had sort of been taking probiotics for many years, but then I fell off the wagon, didn't buy them, ran out and all that. And I had read that a lot of our problems with cardiovascular and heart relate to our gut. So they said, start taking a probiotic. I did, and I really think it is helpful. Obviously, it's good for a lot of reasons. So I've added this to my daily regimen as well. Now, because of my weight gain, oh my God, this phone, I ran out of space again. Yes, I'm recording on a Samsung Note, and actually, what is it, 9, 10? It's an older one. So anyway, let me recap just because I don't know where I left off. So I'm taking supplements, the grapeseed extract, the vitamin supplements that help the arteries, the probiotics. I'm also taking cinnamon now because cinnamon is great for helping to metabolize your sugar, which will help with weight loss. And so I take 2 of these every day. I do have the phytoestrogen that doTERRA has, which has flaxseed in it. So that's really good for losing weight, helping with the, with the estrogen and everything and balancing things. So I just started that one a couple days ago, so I don't have any report to tell you about the effect of that one. Now, I do have a ton of other things, and I just started trying all these different things, thinking maybe it's the combination. I don't know if one thing would do it. For instance, I don't know if just taking this vitamin would be enough. I know it would help with the elasticity of the vessels, help them to be more flexible, but would that be enough to lower my blood pressure? So I did add in walking every day, trying to get my steps in. I got my Fitbit. That's what I think a lot of it is going to help, getting that heart muscle moving again, get things in, get in shape, lose weight. The doctor said, okay, listen, if you can lose at least 5 pounds, that would be a tremendous help. It's going to take off like 6 or 7 points on those numbers. The lower one would probably be about 2 or 3. And sure enough, within a couple of weeks of basically controlling my diet, so I cut out all sugars, and because I'm addicted to the white sugar, and I love salt. So those 2 white things are going to cause you a lot of problems. So get rid of the sugar, get rid of the salts in your diet. I went keto, and I did that for several weeks, and I saw my weight was consistently going down, dropping a little bit each day. Not a lot. I was losing about 2 to 4 tenths of a pound every day. But I was consistently losing, and I was also trying to get to that point of not being insulin resistant. I was trying to help that, because during my third pregnancy, I did have gestational diabetes, and they told me that you gotta watch this when you get older, because this could be a problem for you. You could develop diabetes. And because of the size, I know where I'm at now with my weight and what I was when I was carrying my third child, that I developed this, that I'm really close to the same thing. So I realized that now I'm at that tipping point where the sugar and just poor diet, no exercise, all these things are contributing to the inflammation. And the inflammation is what is raising that blood pressure. Now, I also saw online that they said for women over 60, which is me, that bottom number might go all the way up to 90. And so 90 is not, okay, it's not good, but it's not necessarily the worst thing, because you are aging. And so it goes with age. But I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to try to bring that down. Now, at night, I started taking, let me see, I got a jar of them. Where is it? I started taking the low dose aspirin. So it's like 81 milligrams. I take that at night. It's a blood thinner, and it's supposed to help you with your heart so you don't have a heart attack rate. Again, don't know if it works. I asked the doctor, I said, what do you think about this? So I'm telling her all these things, and she goes, yeah, okay. You don't need to take it. But then I said, well, I'm already taking it. She goes, okay, keep taking it. So to her, it wasn't like any of these small things were going to really make the difference. The biggest difference was going to be in my diet and in exercise. I mean, that's pretty obvious, and everyone would agree that about 65% of your blood pressure is going to be directly related to your weight and to your diet. And right now I'm carrying too much weight for my frame, and I know that just getting that down is going to help lower the blood pressure, and I'm already seeing that happening. I'm going to show you some more numbers later, but I've been working on this since the last time I told you I was going to take 2 weeks off, and it ended up being 2.5 months. Okay, things got in the way. I developed like a cold flu. It wasn't COVID, but I had a bad cold flu for about 5 weeks. And then just life got in the way, Christmas and holidays and stuff. Now, the other day, I went and got some CBD gummies, because I've heard these are fantastic for cholesterol, also with inflammation, which is a huge thing. I mean, I also started getting the sciatica pain in my back for the last couple of weeks, and I think it's probably from the sitting, and the sofa that I've been sitting on is just like sinking in now. So it's just really put a lot of pain on me. So I started doing all these things, not realizing that these were also, taking, aspirin's fine, and I got a stronger aspirin here, but I was taking some other things like the NSAIDs or whatever they call them, the, ibuprofen and things. And it was actually raising my blood pressure. So all of these things I was very sensitive to. In fact, even coffee, something very simple like that, which is supposed to help you burn fat, right? Because it's giving you that little bit of a stimulant, is actually affecting my blood pressure. So I think I have a very sensitive system to anything that's going to just push it over to the other side. And I started doing also, on a regular basis, I was doing the doTERRA lavender soft gels. Again, I don't know if it helps. It sometimes feels like, it takes that little bit of an edge off, but I'm not sure if it's doing enough to make a difference in the blood pressure. Now, when I first started this a couple of months ago, and I was very aggressive on the diet with no carbs and no sugar, no caffeine, no sodas, none of that, no bread, I noticed that I saw my pressure really come down, and it was really super low. I mean, I was like, whoa, this is incredible. I haven't had this number since I was in high school. But I fell off the wagon during the holidays and just started eating like normal. Next thing you know, somebody's offering you a ginger ale, you're drinking it, and you got cookies on the table, and you just just go back and fall back into your old behavior, and then the pressure went up. Now, I'm not even sure what happened, but something triggered my mind to say, why don't you check your blood pressure? You know, it's been a while. And so I went back and I checked it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's worse than it was before. And I also don't just rely on my device. I will go to Publix and check my blood pressure there, because I want to sort of get a check. And also the doctor, of course, would be happy for me to come in and check my blood pressure there and bring my device with me, so that we can just make sure that I'm getting the same numbers that they're getting. But I have white coat syndrome, so when I go in there, my pressure goes up anyway. And I told her that, and she kept checking it, and they do it manually, of course, but my pressure was still high. I was just like, this is not true. I know it's not true. It's not normal for me. I know what my pressure is, because I check it twice a day now. So they said, fine, as long as you can keep it under control and it's okay, then we're good with waiting. Now, she wanted to order some more tests for me, which were, of course, much more proactive in checking the arteries for blockages and things like that. Because of the cost of the test, and I don't have insurance, I says, I really want to try this first and see. But I'm going to be honest with you, 30, like 35, 40, I mean, by the time you're done, I'm spending hundreds of dollars on just this stuff. So, I mean, I'm going to end up getting the test just to have peace of mind, because it is better, but not perfect. And I still have a long ways to go with my diet, and I have to lose at least, in my mind, this is me talking, I want to lose at least 40 pounds. I want to get back to being much more slimmer. So my steps is not nearly what they should be. I mean, I'm probably only doing like 5,000-6,000 a day, and that's on a good day. Okay, I don't do a lot. I mean, I can walk around the block a few times, and I have a bike now. So I just started to add that, but I'm very scared. I've been very concerned, because my heart rate goes way up very quickly. It doesn't take much. And even just walking around the house doing my chores, I see my pressure is really, really high. But of course I'm moving. And so these are the things I'm just watching and making sure I can try to get it under control. So I did the cobaye, I did the oregano, which is good for blood pressure. I do turmeric. This is some of the doTERRA ones I had left over, but I'm probably going to go back to the powder. I felt like that was more beneficial. Let's see, what else did I do? The other thing that I'm doing that I really am so impressed with, and I told my doctor, I said, you got to tell your patients about this. Hibiscus tea. Now, I have the passion tea. It's a combination of the hibiscus and other things, or pomegranate juice. But this I make at home, no sugar. I do put like lemon or lime juice in it directly, or use fruit. I don't add any kind of, juice or sugary things in it. But this will lower your blood pressure within a half an hour. I mean, I have literally seen my pressure drop, like 8 to 10 points by drinking this. Now, you have to do this about 3 times a day. They recommend you drink it cool. It's very, very common in the Middle East. In fact, when I was in Egypt, I saw tons of hibiscus, and they kept telling me, oh, you got to drink hibiscus. And so it's delicious. This is now my new drink. I drink water. Oh, and I'm doing apple cider vinegar because I heard that helps with weight loss and blood pressure. Now, there's one doctor website, I'll share the link. He says, oh, but it's a bunch of phooey. There's only one rat test that shows that the pressure went down. But I have seen a significant difference, and I'm seeing my weight loss every day. And now that I started this back up about a week or 2 ago, and my pressure was up. Every day it was higher than I wanted it to be. It was like 138 to 145 over, 88 or 90. And so I was doing the vinegar this hibiscus tea, and I started to see things coming down. And so it was very consistent in coming down, but not nearly where I want it to be. So I'll sit and I'll sort of meditate. You should be resting for about 15 minutes before you start it. Of course, I'm so excited. I'm like, I want to do it right now. I want to know. But let me show you some of my numbers here. I hope I can go back. I think it only stores some of them. So I have 125 over 89, 130 over 94. Again, that's considered high. 125 over 88. That's in the yellow, which means, okay, you better watch it. The 88 is the problem. I want to get that number down. And then let's see what else I have. 120 over 87. Again, it's okay. But again, remember, I just did all of this stuff and have been doing these for over 2 months. I've taken all of this. So, I mean, I've been very consistent about taking all of these supplements, way more than I've ever done in my entire life. I have seen, and I'm not sure. I mean, we're just going to have to try. Once I get it under control and feel like I'm good, then I'm going to back away from some of these things and go, okay, look, I'm not going to do the copaye, or I'm not going to do, oh, I also have garlic oil. So I have garlic oil capsules. So you can get them at the health food store. Especially take 2 of these a day. I really do believe in the garlic. I think I've been using fresh garlic in my salads. I try to cook with it. I mean, I put garlic on everything now. I love it. I think it helps. And they say it does. So I'll try to keep trying that. The CBD, though, I really hope that this will be the real answer. That'll help me chill, and it will also, now this one is 10 with 1,000 milligrams. In other words, it's 100 per gummy, which probably is not enough, but who knows? I don't know. So I've been taking a half of them, just like a half of one, see if that makes a difference. Because in an article, medical report that I found on the government's website said they use 600 milligrams. That's a lot. And I would have to eat a lot of gummies to get that. So that's not going to be cost effective for me. I know I could get the medicine for $15, $16 at Publix and be done with this and go on with my life. But I'm one of those stubborn people that has to try everything first before I get to the resort. Now, with all that said, I am getting ready for a trip, and I did not want to go with high blood pressure. I just felt like I got to get this under control. I'm going to be climbing a mountain and doing things. I don't want to push it. I want to have this under control. And as you can see, I'm a type A person. I'm very like up there all the time. But I want to see something naturally work. I mean, they all go, they go, oh, okay, you can try that. She knows I've written a book on how to use essentials for blood pressure. And of course, in that, I recommend diet changes, lifestyle changes, all the things that you would know. That's common sense, right? But she has given me the latitude to do this and know that I'm recording it and I'm keeping track of what's working, what's not working. And then these will be great recommendations for some of her patients. And she'll get to see and get the feedback to know that this, in fact, is a good alternative to use in the prescription drugs. Because I don't mind anything that's going to help relax maybe the arteries or something, but I have a problem with the beta blockers. I don't want to do that yet. I really want to conquer this. Hope I can. Anyway, all of that said, this is what's happening. This is why I was off of YouTube for 2 months plus. And I don't want to sit on the sofa and edit for 2 days and do another video and do that again. So I can't. We're going to have to be a little more different in their way of presenting our information, I guess, and maybe find a way through this. I hope this helps you in your journey if you have high blood pressure, and what are you doing to help control your blood pressure. Leave a link or comment below of what works for you and tell me about your experiences with how you're controlling your blood pressure. I know that a lot of people in the world, especially in the United States, we have poor lifestyle and diet here, struggle with this. And of course, when you get older, it just gets a little more harder to get it under control, of course. So we all could use a lot of help in this. Let me know what works for you, and I look forward to talking to you again in the next video. I did remember one more thing. One more thing. I am doing a 16 to 18 hour fast. Now today I've gone 24 hours, and that is really great for helping to get your insulin and everything balanced and get into that burn mode. And that's what I've been doing today. Of course, I fast at least 16 hours a day. That's what I really have to follow now. So anyway, hope this helps you, and look forward to hearing from you. And I hope you'll subscribe to our channel so you can learn more about using these natural means and remedies for controlling your blood pressure. Bye-bye.